Hey guys, what is up? Welcome back to the channel. It's another episode here on Custom Car Bros, and in this episode we're going to be jumping right back into the 3D printer build. Alright guys, so to start off, we're going to mention a couple of things I did off camera that you can do to your 3D printer as well. One of them is mounting the power supply, which basically just clamps on with this power supply clamp that I designed and printed on my Ender 3. So the other thing we did was convert this to direct drive. So instead of mounting it further down on the corners, we decided to mount it to this 3D printed direct drive part, which is in a different direct drive folder if you're interested in building this, and it just bolts on using all four of these bolts as well as our other adapter mount. So this is the adapter right here, and basically it uses all four of these holes right here, just like the custom direct drive part does. And basically this will just sit right here, and it just lines up with all four of those holes, and it gets bolted on. And that's gonna be the first thing we're gonna go ahead and jump right in and get done. So we went ahead and put in all four of these nuts as well as two other nuts at the top. Alright, so this part right here and the top mounting piece as well was designed by this guy right here, and it's a huge shout out to him because this part is exactly what I needed, and it's probably going to be what you're going to need for your printer as well. It's even going to mount for a fan duct to blow down at the bottom as well. So make sure you guys check that out, and if you like the design, print it as well. And make sure you give them a big thumbs up and like it as well. So these nuts right here are M4 hardware, as well as the bolts we're going to be using to bolt it together. Alright, so now we're going to go ahead and move on mounting the E3D V6. So basically the other part of the adapter that was designed by this guy right here, basically it just gets two M4 bolts, and I think these are M4 by about an inch or like 25 millimeters if you're in the metric places. So basically this just sits right in, and these kind of push in. They kind of a tighter fit because my 3D printers kind of have elephant's foot. Alright, so now we got a different piece of PTFE tube, and kind of you can just twist it around and decide where you want it. I'm going to cut it about here, and basically you just use a razor knife. Don't use snips or anything like that. Use a razor knife and press against a hard surface and cut it. Just like that. You just push against something hard and it cuts right off. Looks good. So basically it's gonna be hard around this corner, so the more you kind of work that corner out into a bigger arch, the better. You can use however long you want with PTFE tube, but I'm just going for a short distance because I don't want it to bump against the other side right over here. But with that, we got our extruder and thing set up. Now there's still a little bit of wobble, and we're gonna see if we can figure that out in this episode as well. Alright guys, so now we're going to work on some wire management. Now there's tons of wires here, and actually a lot of them aren't getting used. Like this whole wire right here is just sitting in here because the wire was actually bad itself. But basically I designed these wire clips right here, which are included in the design. They click onto the 1-inch stuff like no problemo, just clicks right on. And you can put a wire in the little slot. And you can take them off if you don't like them where you got them. So let's go ahead, wire manage up some stuff. I got a fan shroud right here that I printed, and I'm going to put it on this thing right here in a minute. But basically, let's just go through. We're going to have to extend some wires so we can get the full print area, but that's no problem. So let's just go ahead and jump right in. Alright guys, so now we're going to go ahead and mount a MOSFET. Now if you don't know what a MOSFET is, basically it's just going to control the heated bed using the power supply in the board. It takes a lot of load off the board and makes your bed heat up faster using this MOSFET right here. So basically we're just going to pre-drill some holes and kind of just tap this on, and it should just stay right about there. Doesn't really matter where you put it, but I'm going to put it right here in this corner. Alright, so we went ahead and mounted it. Now it turns out those wires that came with it are too short to reach over to where the bed connector is for this thing right here. So I just took a 15mm blower fan right here, and I cut the wire off because this one's burnt out anyways. And basically just got a nice long piece so it can just plug right in. Plugs right in, and now we can hook it up over here. So let's move on to over here. The fan and plug them in right there. These ones are red and black, but it does not matter which one goes into which one. So now we can go ahead, and with those two wires we just disconnected from the main board, there's going to be a side that says bed and hot, which is this side over here, and I'm just going to put those right in and screw them down as well. And these are going to get screwed on just like so. Alright, so we got those done. Now let's go ahead and hook them up to the power supply. These ones are Pacific. This one shows positive right here and negative right here. Basically, this red one has to go to positive and this black one has to go to negative. If you get these wrong, you'll most likely burn out your MOSFET. So let's go ahead and wire it up. Alright guys, so we have this two-part like magnetic kind of like bed adhesive stuff. So basically this is the bottom and it sticks to the build plate, so we're gonna go ahead and apply that. And then there's also like the top actual magnetic part which connects with this, and they hold on really good. So let's go ahead and do that. Alright guys, so we went ahead and got that on, and it's pretty nice. I really like the feel of it, like magnetizing and stuff. It's just kind of cool, and this way we can remove our failed prints a lot faster while we're R&Ding and researching and developing this thing right here. That's gonna be a wrap for right now, so see you guys tomorrow. Alright guys, so now we're gonna go ahead and upload the firmware. Let me show you guys how to do it. So you're gonna need your computer, doesn't matter which brand. You're gonna need to install Arduino. Now if you don't know what Arduino is, it's a kind of company that basically, it's just a software that allows you to program Arduino boards, which this one's based off an Arduino board. So we can basically plug it in using this extension cable. I've already programmed my printer, but I'm gonna show you guys how to do it. So basically you plug in the extension cable, and then you come over here and make sure you have Marlin installed as well. You're gonna need to install Marlin and then extract it, as well as Arduino and then extract it, and then you're gonna have to combine the two, which basically all you gotta do is click to open Marlin and it's gonna open it. You can go check out this guy's video up here and he'll show you guys how to do it. I don't want to focus too much on this 3D printer, or at least programming it right now, so let's go ahead and move on. So basically once you get that, you can come over here in the top corner and you can click the upload button. And just like that, it's uploading. But wait a minute, I forgot to show you guys how to get to this pot. So you go to your files, go to downloads, and that's wherever you downloaded the files for the STLs and stuff like that. It's gonna have a Marlin firmware file. For me, it's in my documents in Arduino, Marlin, Marlin, and Marlin again. Into your folder where you just installed Marlin, click on all the Marlins you can find until you get to this one right here, which is the last one, and it's got the little blue world behind on the side of it, and you double click it and boom, then it'll open up and you can open the file that comes with all the STLs. Now if you get an error like this, make sure you come up here, click on tools, and make sure your port's selected. For me, my Arduino's just got unplugged, but basically you'll select what port it's on, and that's how it works. So just like that, that's how you upload the firmware, but basically that's the basics of it. Now we can do our first test print. And we got some new parts in today. If we come over here, we got ourselves some 8mm by 15mm by 45mm bearings, and we're gonna replace them with these Z-axis bearings because these ones are a bit longer, and since this is 5/16 rod instead of actual 8mm rod, this stuff is gonna be more durable. This thing likes to really bind up like crazy and has just a bunch of play. So we're gonna try to fix that with these bearings right now. So what does that mean? We're gonna have to remove this thing right here, this thing on the other side as well, and undo the lead screws and pull all the way up, unpress out the old bearings and put in the new ones. So let's go ahead and jump right in. Alright guys, so we're gonna go ahead and remove these bearings to start off, and I've designed and printed this part right here. It's a bearing punch out, so basically it just drops right in the bearing and you can just hammer that and get it out. It's up to you, or you could use the other piece that we're going to use to push in the new bearings at the bottom, and you could press it out if you really want to, but I'm probably just going to try to hammer it, maybe press it, we'll see. So let's just go ahead, jump right in and get her done. Alright guys, so we went ahead and those are all pressed in, all four on all four corners. They are longer, so that should be a good thing. That's the main reason I bought them, and because the old ones are old and these ones are brand new. We may have to do this to a couple other spots, but if you haven't already built the bed part of your printer, make sure you put in the long ones, or at least use actual 8mm rod. So anyways, let's go ahead now and put this in the printer. Alright guys, so we went ahead and mounted the bed and it's looking really good. I even tested it going up and down and it does not bind like it used to, which is amazingly good. You don't even know how good that is, it's amazing. But basically, so I recommend you doing that, adding those 45mm long bearings instead of the just short 25mm long bearings. Just a quick little tip if you're going to build this yourself or if you're interested in designing your own. Another tip right here is maybe even using at least one on each side up here, another 45mm one. I'm trying to decide if I want to take apart this whole axis, and that way I can put long ones in, because if you grab up here on the top or even at the bottom when the nozzle's on, it likes to shake side to side, and I'm not sure if that's just the whole printer kind of supporting that shake, but it looks like it's shaking in those corners. So we may have to fix that in the future, but for now, we're gonna go ahead and see you guys when the package comes in. Alright guys, so this is the 3D Benchy we were just printing, and it looks really good. I don't know if you can really tell, but it's a good print. It's good enough if it were to print like that all the time, it would be one of my favorite printers. And then we got this guy right here, this Squirtle, I think off of some kind of Pokemon or something. I don't know, I don't really know exactly what it was. I just found it on Thingiverse, and I thought might as well print it, and it looks great as well. Alright guys, that's going to be a wrap for this episode. See you guys in the next one.